right, welcome to the lab number 1 demo. In this video, I will just walk you through the basic skills that you need to be able to complete lab number 1. And because this is our first video, I'm going to remind you that I do prefer your labs to be in a certain format just to make them easier to read. So at the top, you're going to see that I have this heading lab number 1, my name and the date. And this is created by going to the format menu, going to style, and choosing title. Please format your lab that way, creating new sections for each question. You can watch the tutorial video for more details on how to do that. In this introduction, I'm going to cover how to type in text and switch back to input formatting and how to type in definite integrals. The calculations that I do here in this video are not actually part of Lab 1. This is just a demonstration. So the first point, how to type in text and switch back to input formatting. When you're using Mathematica, you always want to make sure that your cursor appears on a light gray line like this with a plus symbol at the left edge. So I just used my down arrow to get there. Now, if this was a question in the lab, the first thing I would do would be to go to Format, Style, and I would choose Section and type in the question number 1 heading. Then hit down arrow to get to a new gray line. At this point, I want to type some text to answer some questions. So I'll go back to Format, to Style, and I will choose Text. Then I can say Part A, the answer to this question is 5, or whatever it may be. You can hit regular return and you can continue entering answers. When you want to get back out of text mode, you can just hit the down arrow again. And now if I type something here, Mathematica is going to treat it as an input for a calculation. So notice I put in 5 plus 4, and I'm going to press Shift Enter, which is what you have to press to have Mathematica execute calculations. And you can see it switched right back to input formatting, where it labels my input and my output. Alternatively, you can go back to the format menu, back to style, and you can see that input is now chosen. So that's how you would go about answering a question where you've got to put in text, switch to inputting calculations, and of course you can go back to text. To type in a definite integral, I've given a sample here. Given the function f of x equals 20, that's the numerical constant e. It's a little hard to read in the font Mathematica uses, but I've got 20e to the 3x power, and I want to evaluate the definite integral of f of x from 0 to 10. All right, there's a couple of important things to note in terms of formatting this for Mathematica. Again, I'm going to make sure I get to a new gray input line. And in order to get the definite integral, there's 2 ways to do it. You can use the integrate command, but the simpler way is to go to Palettes at the top menu, go to Basic Math Assistant, and you'll see this window come up. In here, you can find a lot of different formats that are pre-programmed for you. So if I want to type in this definite integral, underneath typesetting, you can see down here at the bottom, I've got 2 integral symbols. One of them does not have upper lower limits, that's the indefinite integral, and the one next to it does have limits. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. Alternatively, at the very top of the Basic Math Assistant, if you click on the Advanced tab, the integrals will appear in the top portion. So I'm going to put that, and you can see it's got an integral formatted for me. Now my lower limit, in this case, I want to be 0. My upper limit, just click in the box, I want to be 10. The expression, I would always recommend that you put the function inside of parentheses. And when I have to type in 20 times e to the 3x, you can either do 20 and come over to your Basic Math Assistant, find the multiplication symbol, and put that in, Or the other option is you can just put a space, and Mathematica does interpret a space as multiplication. So that's the first important thing. The next important thing is that you cannot just type your own regular lowercase e. You must use the pre-programmed e provided by Mathematica in order to have it use the proper value. So I can click on the e to the box, which will get me e with an exponent box. Inside that box, again, parentheses are helpful here. And you don't want to just put 3x, you want to put 3 space x, because you want to indicate multiplication there as well. Now make sure you hit right arrow to get your cursor back out of the exponent, close your parentheses, and you can see it's already set up the dx part of the integral. You just have to put that variable x in there. Now, because this is something I actually want Mathematica to calculate, I'm going to hit Shift Enter. And keep in mind, this is the exact value. If I had wanted a numerical value, I can just pull that from the suggestion bar by hitting numerical value, and you can see it gave me a decimal equivalent, in this case in scientific notation, for my integral. So that should answer some basic questions on how to do this lab. Of course, be in touch if you have any other difficulties.